Commissioners in Oxford County are looking to remove Sheriff Christopher Wainwright from office.
In their last meeting, commissioners made a motion to send a letter to Governor Mills on the proposal to remove Wainwright. The motion was made on January 16th, and a letter has yet to be finalized. This isn't the first time the commission has considered having Wainwright removed.
In May of last year, the commission met behind closed doors after Wainwright apologized for using his position to try and help the recipient of a traffic ticket avoid punishment. He went on to admit speaking inappropriately on a call with two deputies who reported his request to their superior officer.
That incident happened in November. Wainwright was reelected to a 4-year term in 2022.